Everybody, welcome back. HSC Podcast 151. Big Box Steve on the mic, the Big Smooth and Fresh Wes with the armband. Looks like you just came back from the doctor. Wes,
Hmm?
I said your
What?
armband looks like you just came back from the doctor getting blood drawn or something.
I thought it looked more like he just got back from the tennis courts.
Oh,
Maybe a little racquetball.
we play pickleball these days.
Yeah.
I never played it, but apparently people love it.
I played it back when I was like like in young, back in the day, and then like, oh, now it's like, oh, it's super popular. I'm like, okay.
Wild. Everybody's pickleball star now.
Yeah, where was it? Somewhere they're like building like a huge pickleball court, like I think here in Gresham. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a good use of resources.
Yeah.
Get some pickleball going. All right, well, we're gonna get in tonight to talk NFL, just kind of recap the draft, get our movie review, and then first though, you brought this up earlier, so let's talk about what the big hype is around the internet these days. I mean, I saw it on like news channels talking about, like ESPN talking about it. I'm like, this is crazy. And so apparently the big thing, so we'll get that out of the way. It's like it's 100 men versus one silverback full-grown gorilla, just to make sure you understand what you're going against. And so this is for some reason it's a big debate. People love this stuff. It's kind of like the bear in the woods, would the woman rather run into a random bear, a random man? It's kind of the same thing, right? It's a pointless thing, but that's what people love. So my thought though, like when you first like the eye test wise, when you think about it, you look at a grill, you watch them, you know what they're capable of with their how much they can lift and how strong they are and their teeth and all this stuff. You're like, no shot, right? Like that was my initial thing, right? Like how could you possibly? So just from the eye test, what do you guys think? Like just outside looking in 100 men versus the grill, like what's your thoughts?
Well, if it's 100 and they're all going at him at once, it's going to overwhelm them, right? I mean, some of them are going to die. Let's get that out of the way. That's gonna be the cannon fodder, but then you like have people grabbing at the legs, and taking the legs out, and then
Yeah, you get him on the ground, but what are you smothering him? Like how you killing him?
curb stomps once you get them on the ground.
Just gonna just try to stomp him out. Like his
Yeah.
skin is literally like leather.
Well, if you got like 50 men on top of them, then you just have, they can't go anywhere.
You are limited in space though, right? You can't get
Yeah,
all 50 on at one time.
right.
What do you think, Wes? What's your eye test on it? 100 men.
Well, this has been on my mind for quite a few days because there's nothing else to think about than this for me. Um, I, yeah, it's kind of like the infantry, like who are the people that are going to probably die first? If there's 100, it's like, you're like, okay, you want five or six of them that are like really motivated to actually the ones that really feel strongly about the subject, right? You put them up there front first so they can storm, and then you're gonna probably lose three to seven, eight of them, and then you probably could get him down with 20 or 30 maybe. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of broken bones, damage done.
You got to be committed to the cause, man. Like, because that for the first, those first couple guys in, especially like when he gets really pissed off, right? And then he starts ripping arms off. Like, you got to be committed.
No, you gotta cheat. You gotta inject him with something like like fentanyl, you know?
That might be even worse. I mean, you may
I mean,
eventually
wait a
give him
minute,
a
they're
heart
doing that
attack.
at OH. Remember, they're doing that at OHSU. I should stop
Right.
with the monkeys.
So
Um,
horrible.
well,
Yeah, you. that's the other issue is like if you do start like hurting him, right? Doesn't he then have like a crazy adrenaline thing, life fight, fight or
Yeah.
flight thing that
Yeah,
goes off that really good? Then now he's a mad
yeah.
silverback gorilla and
He
fighting for
might
his
kill
life,
25 in 10 seconds.
right?
That's his last, Yeah, I don't think I want to be on the roster to
Yeah.
test out whether I
Well,
think it's a really bad idea.
statistically, 100 sounds like a lot, right? But what I see is the problem is there's only so much space around him, right? 100 guys aren't going to get a punch on him, right? You're really going to only have maybe 10 to 15 in that circle.
No, you got to do some backwoods stuff, man. Like again, it's like you need someone on his back. It's like it's almost like remember when Princess Leia like choked Jabba the Hutt with a chain? You need like three of
So
those people just to try to choke him.
Well,
John
come
Jones
on.
is going to submit him.
It t the plan is already there. Yeah, it's just like any like WWE match where you have a giant person and then a small person. You go and you take out the legs.
Right.
You take the
Sweep the
knees.
legs.
Yes, you sweep the leg. They can't walk. They can't lift up
No,
very high.
Right.
Go for the legs.
it's like you need Anderson Silva, Spider, go after the legs.
Yeah.
I
You
would
need
just being like just kicking
elbow,
legs.
just like five people just do a knee to the face.
Yeah, then you got
Gouge
to
his
keep
eyes
him
out.
down, right? So like you're gonna have to like break his legs
This is
because
animal cruelty just to talk about this.
it is kind of animal cruelty. Like
I
that's what's
feel
wrong with
bad
these
now.
people.
Do not inject like animals with fentanyl, please. Do
You
not.
guys are all everybody's all talking about like you know helping people and
Yeah.
humanity. Now you guys are
So
talking about killing a gorilla?
I guarantee you, while we're doing the podcast, I will see a commercial about Save the Gorillas here.
Right.
Like it will be on here. Save everything else. Next is gonna be the gorillas.
So well let's say it's possible and but so Derek, I think this is a good your thing because I've heard this on sports. I hear it on ESPN. They were talking about what type of people are going on this. So if we had to choose 10 football players, past or present, 10 on one, I don't think they're winning, by the way. But what 10 football players would be the toughest or the guys you would want
Oh,
you would send into that battle, right? And so, and we don't have to each individually name our 10, but let's think about put together a 10 as a group. Um, so I'll start with like one that I would definitely put in there, and it would be Larry Allen. So the reason I'm taking Larry Allen, dude, is because he benches, as much as the gorilla, right? He's like one of the strongest bench guys ever, and he benches the 225. He did it like 50 times or whatever, at the
Yeah.
combine, and he's big. So you need a big
Well,
dude.
when he was playing, I think he's lost tons of weight now. But
Well, yeah.
when he was in his peak playing days, yes.
I'm taking well these guys. I don't think you want any 70-year-old dudes, right?
No.
So I'm assuming we're taking peak time guys,
Well, I got a lot of people that have passed away on my list, so
right? So you really don't want them on your team.
yeah. And
All right,
like what we were talking about, and want some crazy, right?
right. You need somebody who's a little bit, but yeah, you need to have senses, but you also need somebody who's just gonna go wild. So I'll throw Larry Allen in there as one of mine.
I'm gonna go John Matuzak.
Oh, jeez. I mean, that's it's good as pick as anyone, right? Like if you're looking for somebody who's going to go crazy,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be committed to the cause, like we said.
Yeah.
Throw one in there, Wes.
Jack Lambert.
Oh
There you
yeah,
go.
he's on
He's
my list too.
he's just nuts. I mean, he doesn't care. He doesn't have any teeth, anyways.
Right.
Like, go ahead and hit me in the face. I already lost all my teeth.
Yeah, and he would definitely be bought in, right? He's one of those guys that you give him a mission and he's going to accomplish it.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's like, I'll go first. It's like I like you too much for you to go first. You need someone that we don't like to go first. Come on, dude.
Yeah, he's definitely on my list. Another one that I had to throw in there is Mean Joe Green.
Yeah,
Again, like the size, he's big, but he's good with his hands. Can keep him at a
yeah.
distance.
I think there's that psychological warfare like element to it. I would throw in Ed Too Tall Jones because he's like 6'8", 9,
Right,
and
right.
he's big. But I don't think that's really effective against a gorilla that much. He just might be a little bit too big, but still, maybe you can. It's like when they tell you like, hey, when you see a bear, kind of like go like make yourself bigger.
Right.
Maybe Ed Too Tall Jones can do that. He can make the gorilla think for a second, and then you can rush him. Then you have LT on one side. You got like, you know, Tom Jackson. Ooh, Tom
Tom
Jackson is
Jackson, I
on my
like
team,
that.
dude. Tom
He's
Jackson. He's not that big, but he's an animal.
he's gonna tackle blindside him.
Oh yeah.
He's good on that outside linebacker. What do you got, Derek?
Well, another crazy Alzado, Lyle
Oh,
Alzado.
Lyle Alzado, yeah. That was the first person I thought of actually when you're like, who do you want? And I'm like, well, who's the craziest person I can think of that played in the NFL?
You put Matuzek and Alzado out there together.
No, I already got it. No, it's a wrap. Done. Romanowski.
Oh,
Oh,
Romanowski.
Romanowski, dude. It's a wrap. He's going first. And you know what? He won't die.
Well, he'll keep going is the thing. He'll get
Yeah.
bloody and he'll still
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, James Harrison is someone I'd want in there, right? Because he's strong, he's smaller though.
Yeah.
He's not as big as some of the other dudes, but he's bulky and like he could get those legs, right? He's shooting the legs, trying for the takedown.
Oh, what Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis, yeah, he's the other one on
Ray
my
Lewis,
list.
yeah.
see,
Just
and I'm going for some missiles. I got a tandem, Jack Tatum from one side, Ronnie Lott from the other.
I'll
There
take
you
Ryan
go.
Lott.
Just, I mean, it sounds good on paper though, but just imagine trying to like a gorilla coming over the middle of the field, you're a safety, and you're trying to hit him. Like, it don't matter if you're Ronnie Lott, dude. It doesn't matter if you're,
Well, dude, it's perfect because Lott goes for the legs, Tatum goes for the throat,
right.
clothesline.
I mean, you could throw in Steve Atwater if you're looking for that type of hit.
Atwater, yeah. Atwater would go heads first.
I definitely thought Lawrence Taylor, I'd throw him in there. Dick Butkus. Let's see. Earl Campbell.
Yeah.
So he's relentless, right? He's not going to give up on the fight.
Larry Zonka.
Yeah, Zonka.
I mean,
Uh,
Larry Zonka, like he's up in Alaska right now, like hunting bear. I mean,
Well, let him do it with his hands and then tell us how it went.
well, that's when he is a player. He can do it.
uh, I want somebody who doesn't care about being injured and still fighting. And that's Jack Youngblood.
Yeah.
Dude played a game on a broken leg. Think he could go out there and still.
Well, you're gonna get a broken leg, an arm, and a
Yeah.
head, and a lot of stuff.
You gotta keep going.
Let's just admit though, like if you're looking at this, the '70s players had a better chance than any other
Yeah,
generations.
Oh yeah.
isn't it funny? We haven't like named. There's only like Kittle. I'd say I want Kittle because he looks backwoods. Like he's done some crazy stuff, And then,
No, it's real though. Who would you actually take from like today's NFL, like in this
well, I mean,
scenario?
there's I don't know. Well,
Maybe Max Crosby?
yeah, Max Crosby definitely there. If I, oh yeah, totally. He's up front. Like
I mean, there's definitely still some big guys. I just don't. They don't remind me of the tenacity of some of the older players. And then maybe it's a different league, of course. And
Well, it's because of the rule changes. You can't see the
yeah.
big hits. Who was
But
it? But I showed you that clip, but from the Florida game way back. But Major Wright,
Oh yeah.
here's the thing. It's like maybe what you want to do is you want to sacrifice somebody from the newer players. Like you put like who do we sacrifice? And then he gets them distracted,
Right.
right?
here, Dak
So
Prescott, go out
no,
there.
no, no. You
Let
gotta
me
have somebody that can move around, dude. We
let
need
me
to.
let me go to my all hates roster here.
We're
Who do
gonna
we
have to
sacrifice?
sacrifice, dude. You're gonna have to sacrifice like Saquon.
No,
You
no, we're
got to
not.
because look, he's quick, he's mobile, he moves around. He's gonna do a
Dude,
reverse
he's on my
hurdle over
fantasy
the
team
gorilla.
already.
Hey, if we're talking about someone to sacrifice and not a good dude, we'll talk about Tyreek Hill. He can move around.
Yeah,
Ida.
be running through his legs and around him. I don't know. So I mean, we named a lot of good players or a lot of guys, but just 10 though, no shot though, right?
You never know. Just got to get the legs,
Sweet
sweep the
boy.
legs.
Yeah. We have to we definitely need someone from like Oxford to tell us the best angle, like it has to be pressure points and it has to be a lot of physics.
So
Yeah,
there's
Like
going to be an analytics department for this.
right.
dude, it is we're creating the all gorilla team.
All gorilla team. I like
It's
that.
like all Madden but better. All
I'll pull a short out for the all gorilla team and
no.
list them under the description. All right, well, let's get off the gorilla topic. It's crazy though, isn't it, that it's just trending so much right now
Dude,
that
that's like the last 2 days, even on the wires, it's on
yeah,
there. Like
it's on like national news. Like what there's
it's
nothing better for you guys to talk about.
everyone's so angry. They're just like, hey, let's just talk about this.
Yeah. Let's talk about killing a gorilla or 100 men.
Hey,
Uh,
who knows? Back in the Roman days, they probably could have done something like that.
Uh-oh,
yeah,
Ant-Man's hurt. Ant-Man's hurt. Oh, he's got
something
cramps.
in the
Oh,
arena, right? They're out there in the Coliseum.
Yep.
yeah. Well, that's what this is. And like, trust me, like 10, 15 years, I mean, we'll be sitting around and watching some of this stuff.
Well, it's going to be like Idiocracy, right?
It's
Right.
idiocracy, dude.
They'll pull up the internet and they'll be like, "Hey, this was an interesting idea they had years ago.
Let's
Let's
do it.
try that."
Yeah. They're gonna pull up the podcast like these guys really figured out something here.
Okay, so let's jump into draft here as well. Obviously, we talked a little bit about this last week, but we didn't see where Shadur was going to land, and so that's a big topic around the draft. I mean, what do you think about that? One, going to Cleveland. Two, going in the fifth round.
I mean, I like Shador. I was texting you guys pissed that the Raiders didn't get him in like the fourth or whatever, because I'm like, why not? It's good value. But man, when you overplayed your hand big time, it's like you didn't, maybe you should have done the combine and done the workouts and done all this stuff so people will. And they played it like, oh, we are like the best player in the draft. And obviously, other teams didn't think so. And please stop with the BS of like it's a collusion thing.
Oh, I know.
NFL owners, they want to win. NFL coaches and GMs want to win. If they think you can help, no one cares. If you are really, really good, no one cares about how bad of a person or what about you. Think we've how many players have we had where it's like, oh, well, that person was arrested or something. Oh, well, just look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They keep getting all these players. Rasheed Rice, oh, nothing's happening to him. Who cares? Let's get another player. We'll just keep getting. It's all about
Right.
winning.
So if I mean that's the case, right? Then why does he drop to 5? Because talent-wise, I mean, most analysts had him up, as the number 2 quarterback at the first round pick. Us as a group, I think we all agree that he's a good quarterback and thought he would go in the first or late early second, right?
Well, I think what it came down to is this. Teams like the Giants and the Browns weren't looking at this draft. They want to go to the other drafts. Other teams are looking at, okay, you're going to be a backup. Do I want to deal with the headache that you might cause as a backup, or do I want to go in a different direction? And I think that's the key is a lot of the teams got their quarterbacks already. Like the Raiders, they went in draft or traded for Geno Smith. If they wanted to have done that, who knows? They probably would have drafted Shador in the first round. Who knows?
Yeah, it's and the thing about the Browns is, I mean, now, I mean, of course he goes to the Browns. Like nobody really talked about the Browns before. Now, people are like, I see every day, every morning, it's like, will Shador be? Will Shador has a good chance to start every single day? It's like, are we going to do this for like 4 months?
Yeah.
Like every single day. And I'm just saying to myself, who really cares? It's like I don't care if he starts or if he goes to the UFL. I don't care. It's like everybody talked about so much, like the last 3 weeks, that I think even the owners are like, geez, are we really going to put this guy on our team? The distraction he's going to be without even playing.
Yeah.
We're going to questions every day. Oh, does he have a good chance to start? Or I mean, what is he? He's going to compete with Cody Pickett for second string. That's what's going to happen.
Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, they drafted Dylan Gabriel too.
Yeah, but he's not going to be second string.
They're actually
he was
ahead
a
of.
third round pick.
What is that? What is that? Is that Varsity? Yeah, Varsity Blues was like, you're going to be second string all your life, boy. That's Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, but don't you think most teams have more leeway with a third rounder compared to a fifth rounder? Like if you're a GM and you draft someone in the third round, you're going to give them every opportunity
Yeah.
that you're
It's
right.
great. I think it was really smart with I mean, it was a no-brainer for the Browns. I mean, the Raiders, like I said, I was so mad in the fourth round. They should have done it because, okay, that Geno Smith potentially is going to get hurt at some point next season. If not, great. But if he gets hurt, Shador can play, and we could see if he can actually play. And then if you don't really like him, you can trade him, and you could probably get a third or second rounder for him. You don't lose anything by getting him. And the way that they drafting him in the fifth round, it's like
fifth round, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
it's a steal for the Browns because here's the thing with and I'm not a huge Travis Kelce fan, but he said something that I thought was really interesting. He said like if this doesn't motivate Shador to like really want to play well and play hard and show everybody he's better than a fifth round pick, nothing will motivate him, right? And I kind of agree with that take. Is that I think this will motivate Shador to come out and try to win that starting job.
yeah.
And I don't think Dylan Gabriel is going to beat him out. I don't think he's as good as Shador. I
In the
think
right, but here's the thing: they did draft Dylan Gabriel ahead of him,
yeah,
which I thought was really interesting. It's like, okay, they saw that Dylan Gabriel under the right conditions, Dylan Gabriel could be a good NFL quarterback, but they have to be the right. I mean, look at the Ohio State game; those are the wrong conditions,
yeah,
and they got beat down. Like he has to get outside the pocket, and he has to buy time, and then he could pick teams apart. But if he can't do that, he's ineffective. You give him he's not very big.
right.
So I think, yeah, I mean, look at all the plethora of quarterbacks like that they have to, mess around with. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying that Cody Pickett. I mean, Cody Pickett technically has a winning record. I just don't think he's a starter. But Flacco is like 100.
Right.
I mean, it's just it would be talk about a hard knocks right there. Like
I mean, they might be in Cleveland.
Dude, It just dirty. That's going to be like they should do it.
I
Did
would.
you?
You
Did,
think about it.
so Cleveland, are they going to get rid of Nick Chubb? They got to,
Yeah.
right? Dude,
They
did you see
they
that video today?
it's almost a done deal, it looks like that
Dude, he
Chubb's
looks
gone.
healthy. He's like jumping over those hurdles, like broad jumping. I'm like, Jesus, dude. It just hurts looking at that.
Well, the rumor is he's going to an NFC
Yeah,
I saw
North
that
I
too.
saw that too.
a North team, which would be funny because I was really disappointed that they didn't grab, a big running back when they had a chance. And not big as in like high up in the draft, but just a bigger dude, to kind of offset
Oh, that
for,
totally
for
changes
Johnson's
you guys.
offense.
That totally changes your whole season if he goes there.
It gives you that thunder and lightning that you're looking for with your running backs, right? Between Swift and Chubb. So that, I mean, Roshan Johnson's not bad and he can fill that role, but not like Chubb could, or one of the, you know, good backs you could have gotten this draft. So yeah, that's interesting though, and it's I'm on the same feeling as Derek, which is that these guys are businessmen. They want to win, right? They're going to do what's best for the team, regardless of the guy's attitude or his father or whatever. And so the drop to me is weird, right? To fifth round. That's what's so weird to me. It's that far of an actually very talented player.
Well, I hate to say it too, but maybe NFL scouts and stuff have a different opinion than ESPN talking heads, right? I mean, we know that like the ESPN people are just loving Colorado. So why not being like, dude, like, did you see like how unprofessional Mel Kiper was?
Yeah, well, he's always been a little unprofessional.
I know, but this was like, it's like, dude, Mel Kiper,
Yeah,
you're not an expert.
right.
You said Brady Quinn was going to be like a superstar quarterback. So shut up with your, oh, you haven't been able to draft quarterbacks for 50 years. They don't know what they're doing. And like you do.
Well, I love Kuiper because then when you're predicting, you just do the opposite.
Right.
You have something to go off of. I don't,
Well, even somebody made a
Oh,
comment on one of ours, and they were trying to compare like Johnny Manziel, even, right?
oh, jeez.
And even Manziel, though, only slipped to like late in the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. He was talking about Baker Mayfield. I'm like, dude, that was the number one overall pick. He was
Right.
not a fifth round talent.
Well, I think he was saying that that's what their talent level was, and they got
Yeah.
picked at a different level, but I do think that like the Johnny Manziel, Shadur Sanders gives you the same type of vibe, right? Of distraction and not, you may not want him on your team, but
Maybe that's why the Browns waited till the fifth round because they'd already
Yeah.
gone through it with Johnny Manziel.
right.
Yeah. It's there's just a lot of like, what was Stephen A. Smith? Oh, this is about Dion. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's about him.
And then
It is kind of about Dion because Dion's going out there saying, well, there's maybe some teams we won't, we don't want to play for. Okay, that didn't help. That's not going to help at all. Okay, then you're like thinking, okay, are we one of those teams?
we
And
said that about the Browns.
Yeah.
yeah, it's the freaking Browns, and look what happens.
And he gets drafted there.
By the
Well,
Browns.
and then the funny thing is, like, you can't compare Shador to Manziel. Hello, Manziel was a Heisman Trophy winner, and he went out and beat like Alabama and actually won games, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at record wise, but I still talent wise, I think they're similar as
well,
players.
yeah. Now hindsight, since Manziel's out of the league, and
I think Shadur is a talented quarterback. I mean, and then it's not from an analyst position. It's not from there. I've watched him play. I've seen him quite a few Colorado games last year. I've seen tape on him, and I think he's a good quarterback. So it's just there is some mystery around it to me of that far of a drop, right? I could, second, third round, I'd have been like, yeah, it makes sense. Attitude problems, whatever. But
He was sacked a lot. His line play wasn't great. Some of that was his fault, but there's so many times I've seen where he evaded the rush and he threw on the run very well.
right
Like
outside the pocket,
when he had to improvise, he was very good at improvising but sometimes he wasn't good. But when you're pressured that much,
Yeah.
you're not gonna bat 1,000. You're gonna make some bad throws.
Well, I think the big thing is he might be talented, but is he starting quarterback talented? And the thing is a lot of these teams that already have starting quarterbacks don't want the headache of him being their backup.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
well, I he could start for some teams in the NFL. I mean, quickly, especially if like if Derek Carr is hurt, he's got a shoulder problem. I
Right.
thought that was a good situation. I'm not Tyler Shu or Shuck or whatever you want. I don't even know what to call him. Tyler from Oregon is always hurt. You take a quarterback in the 40th pick, and he's been injured for 3 years. That's kind of a risk there when you have someone like Shador he's played enough. He's played enough in college, and even though he wasn't as successful record wise, he can line up for you at some point in his rookie season, and you know that he can look around the field, and he knows he's been there to a certain extent. Um, so I just that was kind of surprising that they went that route. Um,
Well, even as, and again, I think it's a good point. When Derek, you're talking about teams already had their positions. Some may have been looking for the future quarterbacks, like their quarterback's not going to come in this draft because they're not as talented as they may want. But then there were times though where teams like a New Orleans or the Raiders and just they
the,
kept passing on him.
the
And at some point,
Steelers,
I'm like, geez, like
the
just
Steelers still
draft him
don't have a
already.
quarterback. Look at the Steelers. They're
Yeah,
gonna roll with Mason Rudolph and
like just
Skylar
draft him.
Thompson.
Well,
You're
then
back
they're
at
like maybe
Skylar
the
Thompson.
Rams because Stafford's getting old, but
How would you love to tell your Pittsburgh fan base, hey, you know what? Skylar Thompson's going to get some reps and OTA. Like
Skylar Thompson.
Skylar Thompson, he's not the CFL or the UFL or the what it,
well, obviously they know that they're going to get Aaron Rodgers. So
there's another subject,
Yeah.
right? We're going to get. I thought today it's like, should the Steelers have a deadline for Aaron Rodgers? I was like,
Oh my
what is
gosh.
this? High school? Is
But
he like
then
a
again,
kid?
also,
Like
if you're the Steelers, maybe you're tired of drafting like 17 or whatever, and you want to have a bad year so you can get one of the top quarterbacks next year.
well.
I know the Steelers are just too good of a team to, I think,
Yeah.
finish
Well, think
that
about
bad.
this. I think Arch might think about coming out if the Steelers had the number one pick, right?
Dude, you got to be bad. Like it's like, hey, JJ Watt, why don't you go do something this fall? Like, why don't you why don't you be like, go somewhere with Aaron Rodgers for like the fall? You don't need to play this year, you know? I mean, they did draft defense. It seems like they're drafting like, hey, you know what? We want to retool instead of, you
Right.
know,
Yeah, and it's it's a little weird though when you think about their quarterback situation, right? And
they got
like I said, even the Raiders quarterback situation, because I worry about Geno as well, right? Is can he stay healthy all year or for an extended period of time? We don't know.
but
Yeah,
look at
but I mean, I know you're going to say, but Aiden O'Connell's an okay backup.
Yeah.
I mean, right? I mean, he's won games.
well here
Oh,
I think with by not drafting Shador, I think they're saying, you know what? We're going to roll a Geno, and if he gets hurt, then you know what? We're going to suck, and we're going to get Arch Manning. That's kind of what they're saying. Like we don't want a good backup. We don't want any like. Even though I think it's stupid because in this day and age, and I think teams are going to start getting this hint here. If you're going to have to pay so much of the percentage of your salary to a quarterback, you might as well say, you know what? You're a rookie. You got 3 years. I'm not paying you. Okay. You either want to be part of this organization or you know what? You want to get paid? You can go somewhere else. You got 3 years to get me to the Super Bowl, get me far in the playoffs, and then I'll pay you. If you don't, I'm not going to pay you. I'm just going to bring in rookies. That's why the whole
It,
Shador thing annoyed
it's
me. It's
not a
like,
bad strategy when you
no,
consider
it's
how
a
much
great
these
strategy because you
quarterback
not have to pay
contracts are.
anybody.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Except
pay
it's
Brock
impossible.
Purdy
It's not that
60.
good to find good quarterbacks, though.
But here's the thing. That's what the NFL and that's what's mind-boggling. Was like and even going down through how you're evaluating quarterbacks here. I mean, Skylar Thompson's in the league. Like, come on. Tell me there's not better quarterbacks out there than Skylar Thompson to be
Right.
your
But
backup.
what you're saying is that the Chargers should have got rid of Justin Herbert and then drafted someone else. But can you tell me anyone in this draft that's better than Justin Herbert?
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like, they freaking paid Daniel Jones. They played, you know, Trevor Lawrence. I mean, they're paying, and
Yeah.
these guys are getting paid. They want to pay Brock Purdy. It's like now you have to pay him an obscene amount. I mean, you can even question paying Dak Prescott. He's the highest paid
Yeah.
quarterback by year. And the numbers are just stupid. It's like
Well, and his numbers aren't there as far as like his statistics are good, but his winning, he's not getting you deep in the playoffs. He's not
no.
getting you to Super Bowls. And so, yeah, I mean, then you start questioning, why are we paying him $60 million a year? So it's
They're paying him 60 million a year because Jerry Jones waited so dang long to resign.
Well, yeah.
well, it comes down to ultimately though, yeah, they gotta win, they gotta perform, right? And then that's when they should be getting their bigger pay, their contract. Um, and there are some people out there that have big contracts that I don't know that necessarily earned it yet.
Yeah, I mean, with Shador, I wish the Raiders would have got him. But now, like you said, like Kelsey said, it's his time.
Yeah,
Prove everyone wrong.
right. And
Prove
it's
Mel
going to be
Kiper right.
interesting. We're going to hear a lot about it, right? And it's going to drive Wes crazy, but it's going to be all summer. It's going to be the preseason.
That's
It's
why
going
I
to
couldn't
be,
believe the Cowboys didn't draft him.
oh man, yeah, that would have been. They would have had their own reality show. But yeah, we won't stop hearing about it. But it'll be interesting, I think, to follow and see what happens with him. Um, I hope that he has that same mentality that his father has, which is, doubt me and see what happens.
Maybe they'll do over the summer. Maybe they'll do a reality show about Sanders' struggles in his fall, and then the book will be out
Oh
maybe
yeah,
for the start of the season, so we can all get primed for it.
completely. So I mean, outside of Shadur in the draft, obviously that's been the biggest buzz. Just kind of evaluating some of like you guys obviously know all the Raiders draft picks, evaluating different teams' overall draft, like how they did. Who are some of the winners for you when you look at top to bottom draft? Which teams did well, and then how did the Raiders do? Like, what did you guys think of the Raiders draft first?
Oh,
Really?
well, like Ashton Genty, that's about it.
Wow. I like the Raiders draft. I mean, they got a receiver to go opposite of Jacoby Myers, who's like one of the top hand catching receivers in back. They got Darian Porter, who's a freak athlete at corner, which fits Pete Carroll to a T. They got two offensive linemen. They got what Dante Thornton, who basically is an Al Davis pick in the fourth round. Dude's like a monster, and he runs a 4.340. So, and then two developmental quarterback and a quarterback that I think they're going to switch to receiver. I think the Raiders did great. They had 11 draft picks. They filled a bunch of holes.
Yeah, they had a lot of picks, and they traded well too to get more picks.
Yeah.
Real time draft.
Yeah.
That probably helped them a little bit with Shedeur falling was that everybody's like, who's taking him when they taking him? The Raiders just kept moving back.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thornton, yeah, that was interesting. I mean, he's fast. And that's pretty much Beck. You got the fact you got Thornton, and then you got Beck as more of the possession guy. Um, what because I was so annoyed by Shador talking. I love the draft. It's like one of my favorite things to watch because it's pretty positive for the most part. There's there's some good stories. I mean, just I could sit there and watch Saturday the third round on all day. I like it better than the first two rounds, and because you see all the stories.
Yeah.
But what's annoying is hearing the commentators, and I would flip it through all the ES. And it seems like every year the Raiders, well, you know what? He's a project. It's like, and you don't hear that with other teams. I'm like, I was listening. I'm like, is other team got a no? We need players to play now. No more project stuff. Like we need to win. I'm tired of like blowing draft picks. You know, but yeah, the more I look at it, they had a decent draft. The grade someone gave it A+ here
Yeah.
for Raiders draft.
I've seen lots of A's and then
Yeah.
like a 1B, but mostly it's good. Yeah, but Thornton, oh my gosh, dude, he's
6'5".
6'5"
Yeah.
and he runs a 4.340.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
like
they
a
got two of the fastest guys in true Raider fashion. They drafted two of the
Yes.
fastest
Yeah,
guys.
Darian Porter, yeah.
Yeah. To Wes's point, Darian Porter, he is one of those projects, right? Because he's a newer, he was a receiver, originally. So then he moved to corner, and he still is really developing as a corner. Like we don't even know how good his ceiling is as a corner.
But remember, wasn't Brandon Browner like the same way when he first came out of college to Seattle?
Yeah, there's tons of players that have done it. Sure. Yeah.
But
I
I'm
mean,
just saying that it fits the mold of a Pete Carroll player.
yeah. He's good.
Um,
I mean, he's good though. Like he's good size. He's fast. He's 6'3". That's great for a corner. So
for
it's
as in like other teams, I loved. I can't, it's like it's sadly becoming like my second favorite team, and then they're still in the AFC, so it kind of sucks. But I love Baltimore's draft,
yeah. Um, Starks, I think, was great for them.
and then they got Mike Green in the second round, and
Yeah. Yeah. Overall, though, yeah. I mean, it was a good draft. I think they were definitely filling holes as well. They got what they needed. So that's what makes it a good draft, right? That's what makes you a B or an A when you're rating people's drafts. Like, did they fill the needs they had? Did they get players that have higher ceilings and are good or can start right now? Things like that. I like the Raiders draft. Yeah, I definitely think they're in that B+ range. Baltimore, I'd put them around a B. I'll talk about the Bears. Obviously, it's bittersweet for me because there was a lot of good players, and then there was questionable times to take guys. Uh, I'm not as mad with the Colston Loveland 10th overall pick as I was. It still doesn't make the most sense to me, but he's a good player. He's solid, and anytime you get a good player, you can't be mad at that, right? Love the Burton pick, man. I mean,
Yeah.
what a perfect fit for the Bears offense, coming in what they need. They really needed a good slot. They really needed somebody to energize the offense, and he's going to do that for them, even without having a lot of touches. So Bears overall, not the greatest draft top to bottom, but got some needs. I like Shamir Turner. So definitely got some good players. I'm still putting them in probably that C+ area, just because they're probably could have got better players.
When you say C+, it makes me think of the Christmas Story. C+.
I love the Christmas story. That's a good movie. The Colts is one that I've heard a lot about, and so I kind of looked into their draft.
Well,
you're kind of lucky in that Tyler Warren falls there, or maybe he didn't fall. Maybe that's just where he was supposed to be picked. But what a great addition for them.
Yeah.
And then JT out of Ohio State. I hate saying his last name, but that the edge rusher, Tuimolola, Tuimolola, Lalu,
Tumalalu, something.
Lalu. Yeah, he's good though, and he's very versatile. And so I think that was great. And then I really like the DJ Giddens pick. I think he's a very underrated running back coming out of the draft because there was so many other good ones. He kind of slipped off people's radar.
Yeah, even though people are like, the value they, going up and giving up a first for Travis Hunter, and it, they will obviously, of course, they want, they want a player like Travis Hunter just kind of to put a jolt in the franchise so they don't move to London. Like everyone's like, okay, go ahead and move to London. You guys suck. I thought, that Michelle Tuden at running back, he's explosive.
Right.
They got Jack Kaiser. I like that pickup.
Yeah, the Kaiser pick is real good.
Yeah, at where it was at, it's like they need players like that. So I thought they did better than I think people are kind of grading them as far as that's concerned.
But they did give up so much for that Hunter trade.
That's the problem.
That's, I think, what most people are questioning. I don't think when you look at who they drafted top to bottom, they did well. Like they got good players. But yeah, they did give up a lot of capital for Hunter.
They're on this grade, they got the Browns at a C. So
Well, the Browns, I don't think did horrible for themselves. I don't think Mason Graham
I
gets as
think
much
Browns.
appreciation as he should. I think Mason Graham, he makes a mess out of the middle, and that's what you need. You need a guy who's going to get upfield from the defensive tackle position, take pressure off of Miles Garrett, and so, but also look, they got the Schlesinger, he's really
Judkins
good.
and
And
Sampson.
then Judkins and Dylan Sampson,
Yeah.
and then Dylan Gabriel, and then Shadur Sanders. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I think they did great.
you couldn't have put those names on a piece of paper and handed them to a team and said, "This is who you're going to get in this coming draft." Back during the college football season,
Yeah.
that would have been nuts. If you would have said, "Here's the 8 guys you're going to get," right? And you'd have been like, "No way. What do I got? 8 first-round picks?"
I mean, and then we don't. Sadly, every year we have to talk about the Eagles.
Oh,
I mean, they got Jihad Campbell at 31, Andrew Mukabuba at 64. They got Ty Robinson, defensive tackle. They got another corner. They got Mondon Jr., another Georgia player. And then they got Kyle McCord.
best quarterback. Oh no, that's Will Howard. He's self-proclaimed the best quarterback. Kyle McCord's solid. I like him. But yeah, they do well every year because they know they like get the guys from Alabama and Georgia. Like that's where we're gonna build our team. So, but yeah, I mean, well, so the draft went well. I think there's a couple teams that we just mentioned in there that kind of stuck out. Did well. Our teams, I don't think had bad drafts. I'm not unhappy. Looking forward to the beginning of the season and getting that new offense going. And you guys, you got to be happy to see what Genty's going to do.
Yeah. And Wes, come on. Think about that. This is like, think of a history of the Raider drafts.
Right.
You got to be excited about this one at least.
Right. It's one of those times where you're like, man, they didn't just completely waste the draft again.
No, it's like the first pick. It's like you kind of wondered. I was like, I had a feeling they were going to take him, but just because Pete Carroll, he wants to run the football. If you're just going to go with Geno Smith, of course you got to get someone to run the football, and he's an explosive player. I was happy about that.
I was so scared because it was Genty for so long. And then all of a sudden, a few days before the draft, they're like, it's going to be Kelvin Banks Jr. And I'm like, no, no. At least give me Membu. Don't get it Kelvin Banks Jr. And I was like, dude. And Steve was over here going,
Oh man.
Genty.
The crazy thing is they probably still would have taken Loveland. Then
Yeah.
how mad would I have been?
And then, yeah, if Genty would have fallen to the Cowboys, oh
Oh.
gosh.
Well, yeah, we got a whole summer of talking about the Shadur Sanders saga and going through draft
No, we
picks, things
don't.
like that.
We actually don't. We're actually gonna do stuff this summer. Like we're gonna go camping and stuff.
Well, we don't like the
The
world of
media is gonna talk about
ESPN and media has a whole summer of it. So, but we'll wrap football talk there, and we'll come right back with our weekly movie review. All right, we're back. The weekly movie review. Just wrapped up the NFL and talking about the awesome gorilla story. But getting into our weekly movie review here has been a very popular segment. And so again, I want to encourage people that are listening and watching, whether it's a short or listen to the podcast, happy to review any movies that you want to throw in the comments. So give us some good ones. So last week we did movies based on novels, and this week we were looking for movies with really great soundtracks. And so we'll start off with my pick. Great movie, but the music in it is just it's for me, I guess, because maybe we're older and that's the kind of music we hit when we were kids. But I went with Dazed and Confused. One's a great movie, but two, great soundtrack. So why don't you give us your guys' quick breakdown, and then I'll wrap it. So what do you guys think? The music and the movie. Why don't you lead, Derek?
Right. Well, it's a 70s soundtrack with a bunch of 70s rock songs in it. I love it. I did own or probably do own somewhere the CD for this because it is such a great soundtrack. I love this movie because it's a lot like when it was made, it was a lot of up and coming or like newish actors in it. I was like, I think was McConaughey's first. He wasn't even really an actor yet. I mean, you got people like Jason O. Smith who didn't do anything else, but he had a prominent role in the movie. He was um, Melvin Spivey. You had uh, like Adam Goldberg, Anthony Rapp, and Marissa Ribisi as the kind of nerdy kids. Mia Jovovich and Jason London, Rory Cochrane. There are tons of people in it. And I like Jason London's character because he was the jock, but he also floated. He was part of the nerdy group and he was part of the stoner group. He was like he floated throughout the whole movie like he was part of every group. He combined everyone. And it was just cool because it's like last day of school, about the juniors becoming seniors and then the middle schoolers becoming freshmen and them coming together. And that's what was cool is like the whole um hazing that we don't do anymore.
No, it used to be a thing, right? Like
And
that's
and it the cool thing about the hazing was is okay, cool. We hazed you. Now you can come hang out with us, drink a beer, and have fun. And I think that's what's missing nowadays is people are like, oh, that's a nothing. But yeah, when we were in school, like for football, they did it to us, and then we were all hanging out.
right.
It was a rite of passage.
Yeah,
And
I mean, and there was nothing wrong with it, right? I mean, I'm sure some people's feelings got hurt from time to time, but it's not like you didn't get over it.
so I enjoy this movie. I've seen it probably a million times. For the Yellowstone fans, you got a young Cole Hauser in it.
Oh yeah, the best.
And then, Ben Affleck. So Banyan. So yeah, I enjoy this movie.
What do you got, Wes?
Yeah, it's funny watching it again and realizing that there's so many actors like Ben Affleck. I just forgot that um, some of these actors were in it. It's an interesting how it was made. Richard Linklater, he pretty much wrote, directed, and produced it based off of his growing up in a small town in Texas. So it's based in Austin in 1976. Um, yeah, it's just it's funny at the beginning. The star football player um, Randall Floyd has to sign a pledge promising not to take drugs, and it's just so backwards through the like you that just kind of like starts out the movie. You're like, really? That's pretty much what this whole freaking scene is all about. Um, yeah, just the hazing rituals. Um, the music just there's so many great songs. It's one of those period picks that you forget that it was made in the 90s. It seems like it's just a 70s movie. The way they did it, such a great job of just bringing everything back to, I mean, of course, we weren't really alive. So, but it just seems like it just, the feeling, it makes you just feel like you're there. It didn't do great at the box office. It didn't make much money, but is ranked in the top 50 best high school movies of all time. So it was kind of one of those movies that came out on VHS tapes that where everyone wanted to own. Everyone who were teenagers and in high school. A lot of parents were probably like, "Hey, you can't watch that movie," and everyone would get together and watch it, with their friends. Um, and yeah, the hazing rituals is just yeah, that's something that isn't quite known by kids now because that's just something that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah,
No right passage.
it's really one of the better parts of the movie because it makes, it helps the storyline of, the change from middle school to high school and them, but it also gives more plot to the movie, right? When they're chasing them around and the younger kids have to avoid them all night, right? Because they haven't got caught yet. And then it literally has, music, right? We talk about soundtrack and it's got a great soundtrack, so many good songs, but the no more Mr. Nice Guy part when what's his name gets caught, right?
Yeah.
And then he gets his licks, and you're just like, what a perfect song, and like the way they did that scene. But songs like that, Alice Cooper, ZZ Top was on there, Ted Nugent's on there, Leonard Skinner. So you got all these great real songs like Slow Ride, Lowrider. It all really does fit, right? And so, like you were saying, Wesley, they really captured and encompassed what it was like back then, and everything fit together really well in the movie. The movie itself, I think all of them did such a good job of not just acting, and following script, but playing their parts and becoming their characters to make it like really felt very realistic of each of their characters. And so they chose the right people to do that. And I do think that, Randall Pink Floyd did such a good job in that role too. Like, I mean, he really makes the movie and you root for him, but you also like, man, this guy he's a cool guy, right? He wants everybody to be a part and he, he
Yeah.
doesn't want to be a jock. He doesn't want to be a stoner. He doesn't want to be in the nerds. He wants to be everybody. And that's missing on a lot of people, but he does a great job of encompassing that. So one of my favorite movies, but also one of my favorite soundtracks, which is why I picked it. It's just great music that they put in it as well, and a lot of iconic bands. So can't miss it
And
if you haven't seen it.
and RIP, RIP to Nikki Cat, who died last week. He had a pretty memorable scene in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it just seems like more and more, right? Losing more and more every day. All these great actors and things of our time. So yeah, good movie. Dazed and Confused, check it out. Definitely love it for the soundtrack as well. So let's move over to let's go to The Departed. And so Wes, this was your pick. Yeah, I mean, I'll lead this one off because this is one of my favorite movies, right? You got Martin Scorsese, and then you're gonna pair him with those actors, and then even guys like Brad Pitt who helped with producing it, and but now you're just saying now who's gonna star in it? Okay, we're gonna have Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, Mark Wahlberg, Martin Sheen, Alec Baldwin. Like, I mean, it's just nuts. Like, I don't even know how you put together that cast, but it also worked really well. Some of them got to play roles that they don't normally play or weren't necessarily typecast for as much, which was really cool. But I think DiCaprio does a great job in this movie. I don't always like I mean, I like him in most stuff, but there's some stuff I haven't liked him in. But this one, it's hard not to. Like he really grabs that character and plays it out, fully. But the movie itself is great because you're getting into corruption and the government and things like that. You're talking about police and then the mob and that's what I like about the movie, right? It's not scared of any topics. Like it's pretty intense in scenes, but they're not afraid to like show you, hey, this is what it is, right? This is what's happening out there. And it's one of those movies that you're like, this is probably pretty realistic, right? And so overall, just a great movie. Soundtrack wise, it's actually really good soundtrack too. Like I'd never really realized that. I wouldn't think that this would have, some of these good songs, but pretty good soundtrack there. Um, Let It Loose. It's great. Great one for there. It even has the Beach Boys on it, right? And so very good soundtrack. Great movie. Uh, not a lot more you can say about it because I try not to ruin a lot of that movie for people that haven't seen it, but very well done, well written.
Yeah, I don't know how much more I could say. It is such a great movie. Like he's talking about DiCaprio, but Matt Damon's part, like on the opposite side, that's just a great like duality of the two people and like their lives, how they intersected but didn't intersect. Like the one story I've seen before was they were talking to Matt Damon and he was talking like Jack Nicholson talks about to be the best of an actor, you got to be a writer. And then he told the story of, have you heard about that? Or the there's a part where he executes someone on the beach.
Right. And he's like, she fell funny.
Yes. But the thing was, he's like, first make it a woman.
Right.
Like he changed a bunch of the scene. And first it was just supposed to be like boom, and then they left, and then he added all that other stuff to it, which then makes that scene. You're like, oh my gosh, this guy's a real dick.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's like the acting in that, even like Anthony Anderson, who you think of more comedies, is in that, has more of a dramatic role. Yeah. So, and then yeah, the soundtrack, like you said, Steve, you're like, I was like, when Wes said Departed, I'm like, it's Departed. And then you're like, oh yeah, that does have some good songs in there.
Yeah, that's what really kind of threw me off too. It was when I started looking at well, and you hear them though. That's kind of difference when we did this when I started listening to the music more while I was watching these movies. That's something I don't normally do. Like you kind of forget about that, right? When you're watching a movie, but it kind of helps you to like think about it a little bit more. So yeah, it's a really good one there. So why'd you choose this one, Wes?
Well, when we're talking about soundtracks, I kind of thought not just the songs that are in it, but the score is that it kind of just you're watching the beginning of the movie, and then half like partway through the movie, they do the when he goes in when he DiCaprio goes to prison, and they open up with the title, and Scorsese did that on purpose. And I forgot the movie that he was emulating that he loved. That's what the way they did the opening titles like later in the movie. And that whole part where the contrast between um, Billy Coskin and being the guy undercover, and then the guy who has the shine, which is Matt Damon, who's basically the promising the statey that's going to basically be the next you know the next great serviceman in the stateies as far as like um, being an all-star. And so the throughout the whole movie, it shows that where Leonardo could never be that. He was always the guy that had to get beat up, or you know he's has to wear wires and deal with basically almost getting killed every day. Um, the it reminds me a lot of it's a Scorsese movie. It reminds me of like a modern day Goodfellas in a sense where um, you have so many great character actors. Alec Baldwin is hilarious. You have Fitzy at the end where he's like gonna it's just some of the characters in the movie are just hilarious. Mark Wahlberg won Best Supporting Actor for it.
Right.
He's just hilarious in the movie. Of course, Jack Nicholson, plays a great villain. It's just one of my favorite movies. It's one of the best movies of the 21st century, as far as I'm concerned. And when we talk about movies today, it reminds me of a movie from the 70s. Reminds me of a Scorsese or a Coppola movie, a mob movie. But it is the effort to put that together with that so many moving parts and to put it and it flowed really well. With Martin Sheen kind of like cleaning up, he was just kind of like um, the ending is just it's still hard for me to watch the ending because you're just like, what? Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
It's all these things you don't do that, and it's just yeah, it's a great movie.
There's a lot of depth, you're right, and there's so much happening and going on throughout the whole movie that sometimes that can get overwhelming, right? It can get messy, but they did a great job of keeping that all together.
Because there's so much dialogue.
Yeah.
And the other thing is I've never seen a movie with that much dialogue, with so many great actors having so much airtime. It's and as far as the music, it kind of starts off with the title and the Irish music, and then it goes into where he's like, even when he's like in the bar with when he gets in the fight with the dude because he's like, "Yo, you drinking cranberry juice because you're on your period?"
Yeah.
And he's like, and that even the music for that, just
Right.
that whole scene, and it reminds me so much of Goodfellas because that's what Scorsese does. He uses the music to not really tell a story, but elicit an emotion. Like it's then he pulls in some Pink Floyd with the love scene. That was a great song just for that for that scene. Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies.
I think they're really able to, use a good soundtrack, into the movie. Again, like you said, you miss that and it's lost sometimes when you're not trying to pay attention to it. So the music's all the right music at the right time is kind of how I describe that movie. So yeah, it's a great one, man. I mean, it's I hadn't seen it in a while, and so rewatching again, you're just like, man, this is really good.
And it sucks because I don't have I lost the DVD. I don't know what happened to it. I had to watch it. I have it on my DVR and it's edited.
Oh.
And so watching the edited version, I'm like, no, I can't watch this.
No, it's not an edited for television movie. That's not one you want to watch. But great movie, so good pick there. And then so Derek always has to throw in and you just love that era too. Like you keep picking like these 90s, early 90s, late 80s. Um, so your movie was Singles, which I'd never had seen this before
Oh
as well.
wow.
Um, I mean, I've seen parts or blurbs or things like that, so I know the movie exists. It's not like I never heard of it, but I don't think I've ever sat down and watched it beginning to end. And so, were you able to catch it? Did you see it, Wes?
I didn't see it. I didn't even see it on the list. I thought it was Guardians of the Galaxy, but
Well, yeah, we'll do
I
a quick one on that one too for Caitlin. Um, but so I mean, I'll give mine on Singles, and then Derek, you can give us your overview. But one, so first of all, music on this one's great, right? You and it's grunge music in Seattle, and they're all and then Matt, what's his name?
Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon. He plays a grunge musician, which is even better because it's like they're focused on that, and they do a lot of club scenes in it. They're single people, so they're out at night, right? So they're going to these different places to listen to music, and so you get to hear the music playing as well as part of the movie, right? So it's not a typical soundtrack where a lot of times it's background or they're doing it for certain scenes. Like it's actually kind of encompassed in the movie, the soundtrack is. And so many good songs throughout the whole thing. But the actual storyline, the plot's really good, right? It's about people, single people, and mainly a couple or one or two of them that end up, are they going to be together? And they go through ups and downs and things that happen with Kira Sedgwick and Campbell Scott, right? Like what happened to that guy? Uh, but he did a good job. Like I said, I mean, it was kind of painful at times to watch. You're like, oh man, that's rough. Especially when like they get in the car accident and things like that. But even like Bill Pullman comes in for a little funny part, and just Matt Dillon's great, dude. Like I've always liked him, but he just really plays that part so well. and and then even he comes around at the end, right? And it's about obviously couple singles, but finding love or not. Overall, really really good movie, but man, the music's just so good in it. If you like that kind of Pearl Jam, grunge, Seattle music, then yeah, you're gonna love this, right? I mean, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Eddie Vedder, like it's crazy. And I do love Jeremy Piven's little blurb too, because I love Jeremy Piven, man, because he's so good. But man, does he play that role really well? So yeah, it's a great movie. Like, yeah, if you haven't seen it, check it out. Singles, great music.
Well, and to go down the rabbit hole of our other podcast, it's Cameron Crowe, so director of Almost Famous also. So he is a music guy. And so yeah, that's when you said soundtrack, first one that comes to my mind is Singles because of it is the grunge scene. Like, and how crazy would that have been to be in Seattle and be like, oh, okay, we're 20 somethings going out and we're going to go to this club and oh, this group, Alice in Chains is playing
Yeah,
or Soundgarden's playing. I love the fact that, oh, so Matt Dillon's band's called Citizen Dick. And what's the funny part is his bandmates are Pearl Jam.
right.
Eddie Vedder plays the drums and they have Jeff Ament and I love it just because I love it's kind of a quirky comedy. Sheila Kelly, the one that just like does the date like video date app thing.
Oh, dude, she's great.
And then like the cameo, I don't know if you saw, but the director of that was Tim Burton.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
And so that was for me hilarious. And I just yeah, it's a romantic comedy dramedy because it's ups and downs of life. But I just when you said soundtrack, I was like, dude. And then for you, Steve, here's a little trivia. The only reason you have the TV show Friends is because of the movie Singles.
Interesting.
NBC wanted Cameron Crowe to have Singles become a TV show,
Right.
working with the creators of Friends. They wanted them to work together, but this is before Friends, and he opted out and he said, "No, I don't want to do that." And so then they went and took some stuff from Singles and then they made Friends out of that.
Right. Oh, and that's what it's a lot like that, right? If you think about the show Friends and you watch this movie, they have the same feeling.
Right. And they're in a coffee, they go, some of them work at
Coffee
Bridget
shop,
works
right?
at a coffee shop.
Yeah. No, it feels very much like Friends when you watch it. But it's a movie, obviously, so it's shorter, so they got to put a bunch more stuff into that period. The Yeah, so when you're talking about like the going out, right, and there being singles and being in your 20s and be able to hit that Seattle grunge scene, that would it's so amazing, would be amazing. And I love how they portray it in the movie because you've got like people in suits, right? You like it's like the dude that just got off his stock market job is now coming to the grunge, club after work, right? So you got people in suits and people headbangers and and crazy people and like all kinds of walks of life, going in to see that music, that's why that would have been so cool, and that's really powerful, part of the movie that they really captured.
Yeah. And then shout out two other great cameos. Eric Stoltz is the mime.
Right. The mime is crazy. The
And
mime
then
that won't shut up.
yeah. And then the X-Man, Xavier McDaniel's in it.
Oh my gosh, dude. It's so funny when they start talking about Xavier McDaniel. And then he does his clip.
Yeah.
It's great. So yeah, I mean, back when the Seattle had a team, right?
Yeah.
So great one there as well. So that was the three that we chose, and then we had a request add in. So Guardians of the Galaxy. Um, Wes, why don't you start us off?
The soundtrack is full of hits. Comes to Cherry Bomb. You had Moonage Daydream with David Bowie. Of course, Go All the Way. There's so many great songs in the movie. Um, I didn't see this movie until like 6 months ago. It's like I was probably one of the last ones to see the movie. But it's one of my favorite movies of the last 5 years. Um, oh, pull out. Yeah, so um, I didn't realize it was that old actually. So filmed in 2014. But the original score is hold on a second. Give me a second. Done. Well, it's done. Um, my computer's froze. Oops. Let's see.
Yeah, there's a lot of good songs on here.
Oh yeah.
Just looking through them, like I didn't realize it. There's some good songs there. Uh, as far as like just the movie itself, it's a good movie. It's not my favorite. I know, Derek, you like this movie a lot. So what's your thoughts as far as the movie itself?
Well, yeah, I love the comedic timing of the movie. It's funny, I forgot what Marvel movie me and Caitlin were seeing in the theater, and the preview for this came up, and she goes to me and she goes, I'm not seeing that one. That looks stupid. And now, after years later, and I remind her all the time about it. I'm like,
Right.
and it's probably one of her favorite Marvel movies. So you can't judge a book by its cover, right, Wes? Because Wes didn't see it for.
Well,
It's
Yeah,
like,
that's a long
I
time.
I forgot. I mean, it's been almost 10 years.
yeah,
So that's what's shocking to me because it's like Chris Pratt, like 10 years ago. Um, so I mean, Chris Pratt's hilarious in the movie. It's just I mean, just Rue and just the misfits. I mean, they're just kind of like the biggest losers of the galaxy. Like they're kind of like treated that way. And Chris Pratt is kind of like the all-star loser. It's like they're everyone thinks they're idiots, and that's just kind of like the theme of just pretty much the whole series. Yeah, it's just a hilarious movie, and the music just makes you think. Was it? I remember when that one new Star Trek movie they tried to do the same thing. Oh, we're gonna do this. Like, no, it doesn't work. Only this movie can do that with sci-fi. You know,
Yeah.
just play the old hits for sci-fi.
that's the whole. I mean, discounting the very beginning when it's like super sad and depressing. When you
Yeah.
get to adult, Star-Lord Chris Pratt, then it's like, then you see like, oh, this is what the movie's going to be about when he goes into the ruins, and you're like, oh, okay.
Right. I think I love the cast though, and I think they did a really good job of booking the right people to play the parts that they did. I mean, Bradley Cooper, he's one of my favorites in the movie. It's just if there was a non if there was an actual real fictional version of Bradley Cooper, like that was it. Like that would be what he would be if he was that in real life. So I thought he did a great job. But yeah, the movies, it's not a bad movie at all, right? So don't get me wrong on that side, because I did like the movie, but the music is great when they get into some of those because it's kind of like uplifting. I guess that's the best way to explain it. Like it kind of gets you going, it gets you into it. So good choice on the movies there or on the music that for that one. Overall as a movie, I definitely think it's worth watching. So if you haven't seen it, which apparently so people haven't, so go out check it out.
Well, and what's great about it is the music is part of you know what I mean? It's part of the movie. Like all the music gets intertwined.
Right,
Him with his Walkman and him, and he uses it in his stereo in his ship. And so like, and the songs mean something in the movie.
right, and that's yeah, so yeah, they're definitely intertwining the music. The music's a huge part of the movie. Like you don't have it's not the same movie without that. And that they did a really good job of that. But I mean, come on, hooked on a feeling,
Okay.
The piano Pina Colada song,
right?
Come and Get Your Love. I mean, yeah, Cherry Bomb, Ooh Child, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. And then to end with the Jackson 5 with I Want You Back.
Right. It's just incredible. It's like I said, it's just a really great way that they use the music into the film. So it's it's got to be up there when you're talking about movies with great soundtracks and putting the two together. So that's definitely a good pick. So you can thank Caitlin for that one. Um, yeah, so that's the weekly movie review. Yeah, any comments, anything you want us to review, please leave in the comments. Whatever you think about any types of genres or anything. We're happy to do any of those. Just let us know. But yeah, we'll any final final thoughts there before we wrap?
Go watch The Departed.
Go watch The Departed.
It's a great family movie. It should be required viewing in schools. It's about life.
Well, we had The Princess Bride last week, and that was the best family movie. So we're going to switch it now to The Departed.
We need more cops in where we live. So this will help,
Right.
fill those quotas.
No, it's good. I love it. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.